Good evening and thank you for joining us on Global TV News Express, coming to you from Abuja's capital. I am Judith Peters. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Friday in Kaduna said Nigeria and neighboring countries in the Lake Chad region must display courage in reforming their military doctrine and practices. The president noted that the change in tactics had become necessary as the countries in the region are battling a mobile and elusive irregular force that disregard established rules of warfare. This was disclosed in a statement signed by Dele Alake, Special Advisor to the President on Special Duties, Communications and Strategy. Speaking at the graduation ceremony of Senior Course 45 of the Armed Forces Command and Staff College, Jaji, the President pointed out that the adversaries facing countries in the sub-region are not conventional armies engaging in traditional battlefield warfare. Tinubu will encourage African countries to work together against common threats, acknowledged the multinational efforts of Nigeria, Cameroon, the Niger Republic, and Chad to bring peace to the Lake Chad region. As part of its constitutional mandate, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has debriefed 37 state collation officers for presidential election. Scopes and senatorial district collation officers of the commission. Edikun Michael reports. Planning, Monitoring and Strategic Committee, Professor Rhoda Gumurs, while declaring the access open, sets the comprehensive review on issues and challenges as well as recommendation on the access will enhance planning for future elections. We'll bring you this and more later. A former Ministry of Aviation, Senator Stella Odua, was on Friday arraigned before the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, over allegations of graft. Odua, who served as Aviation Minister from 2011 to 2014, is facing trial over an allegation that she laundered public funds to the tune of about 5 billion naira in connivance with 8 others. But the court on Friday ordered the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation to take over the prosecution of Odua. S8, Gloria Odita, and 7 others charged with laundering about 5 billion naira. The President Judge, Justice Iyang Ekwo, gave the order after Odua and the other defendants were arraigned and they pleaded not guilty to the 25 counts brought against them by the EFCC. Charged alongside Odua and Odita in the 25 counts charge marked FHC ABJ CR 316-2020 are Nwosu Emmanuel, Nandi Chukuma, Irene Chinyere, Global Offshore and Marine Limited, Tip Top Global Resources Limited, Crystal Television Limited, Sabora International Limited, and China Civil Engineering Construction Corporation Nigeria Limited. On Friday, Justice Eko said the controversy surrounding the prosecution of the case informed his decision for the AGF to take over the case. The National Executive Council NEC has agreed on palliative measures for Nigerians through a cash transfer program that will be immediately implemented by the federal, state, and local governments towards ameliorating the suffering of the poorest of the poor in the country. This is coming because of the recent hike in petrol prices occasioned by the petrol subsidy removal. The decision was reached at a meeting held at the council chambers of the State House in Abuja. Prince Adekoke has the details.
The decision of the National Economic Council is coming because of the recent hike in petrol prices to up to 617 naira per litre, resulting from the removal of the petrol subsidy. NEC, while considering integrity tests on national social registers, noted that it will be reviewed at the state level to ensure cash transfers reach the most vulnerable in the society who do not have access to bank accounts.
What we have put out here, a menu of things that will encourage the tiers of government to implement in accordance with their respective fiscal space and fiscal capacities, the federal, the state, and the local government. And we did highlight as well that there is quite some fiscal surplus that will be coming to the states and local government and the federal government. And there, we've suggested it would be nice that you can implement cash transfers subject to your financial capacity.
The Council has also suggested a 6-month cash award policy for public servants to ease their living and transportation expenses, while urging governors to reduce the cost of governance in their various states.
We also talked about ensuring that we paid our public servants outstanding liability, if it's their pension, if it's their gratuities, if it's their leave bonuses, and so on and so forth. And that is a front burner item because we believe that this would immediately bring succor to our people.
To address the cost of living, the governor of Bauchi said food items including grains and fertilizers are to be distributed by state governments at a subsidized rate or no cost after it is received from the Central Bank of Nigeria, Federal Ministry of Agriculture, and National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA.
To all the sectors and all the segments of the society, food is a key component of what is on the table in terms of food security, the escalation of prices of foodstuff, and so on and so forth. And it was gladdening because NEC engaged with NEMA, with the CBN, and indeed with the Ministry of Agric. And we have some buffer stock that is already there with NEMA, and the Council has directed the states will be allocated immediately.
Recall that 2 days ago, the federal government said it will review the plan for a monthly 8,000 naira transfer to 12 million of the poorest households in the country for 6 months in a bid to cushion the effects of the removal of fuel subsidy following the backlash it generated among Nigerians. From the Presidential Villa, Abuja, Prince Adegoke, Global Television News.
The Kaduna State Ministry of Health has confirmed cases of the diphtheria disease in some communities in Kafancha, Jama's local government area of the state. The confirmation was equal to several reports about residents in Takao Road. Kafancha A and Kafancha B wards exhibiting symptoms like difficult in breathing, high fever, cough, general body weakness, sore throat, and neck swelling. It was on Thursday reported that the outbreak of a strange disease in parts of Kafancha, which killed about 10 children aged between 3 and 10 years. However, the chief press secretary to Governor Sani Uba, Mohammed Lawal Shehu, in a statement early Friday morning explained that upon learning about the unfortunate loss of lives in the affected communities, the state governor immediately directed the State Minister of Health to send an emergency team to investigate the cases. The statement said a preliminary report from the ministry revealed that the outbreak of diphtheria in Kafancha had its first reported case in the beginning of July 2023. Governor Sani, while commending the health officials for their prompt response to the health emergency, urged them to continue to carry out their tasks diligently to ensure that the disease is contained and subsequently eradicated. The Senate has called on the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, and the Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC, to immediately suspend the World Bank-funded NMMP Phase 2 in order to undertake a conference review of the procurement criteria to prioritize local manufacturing and assembling. The Senate also mandated TCN and NERC to look towards the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, intervention funds or engage the African Export-Import Afrexim Bank. This followed a motion sponsored by Senator Victor Ume on the urgent need to protect local matter manufacturers in the ongoing National Mass Metering Program of the federal government. This is as the House of Representatives at plenary on yesterday took steps to stop the planned electricity tariff hike by distribution companies discourse. Subsequently, the House urged the National Electricity Regulatory Commission not to approve any increase in electricity tariff in Nigeria. Umar had said that the duty of industry procurement regulators in early developing community, first and foremost, is to protect its local manufacturers and would only try to augment importation of goods and services where there is a clear-cut gap between local production and consumption. The Military High Command says it has activated war mode to combat insecurity in the country. The Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, made this known while updating journalists on the operational activities of the military between 13th to 20th of July 2023. He stated that troops of Operation Delta Safe had destroyed several illegal refining sites, while the air component conducted air interdiction to destroy active illegal refinery sites in different locations in the South-South zone. Kikelomo Okere completes the story.
The Director of Defense Media Operation explained that troops of Operation Delta Safe intercepted and destroyed a vessel involved in crude oil theft in Delta State. It reveals out that on the 7th of July 2023, troops and operators of Tantita Surveillance Contractors intercepted a vessel loaded with suspected stolen crude oil and arrested 12 suspects, a Ghanaian and 11 Nigerians. The vessel was arrested between the boundaries of Delta and Ondo State. The vessel MT Tura 2 reported owned by Olab Maritime Service Limited, has a tank capacity of 800,000 liters.
Raid on hideouts belonging to kidnappers, raid on hideouts belonging to bandits, and raid on hideouts belonging to gunmen. Not to mention the destruction of illegal refining sites and the arrest of terrorist collaborators. These actions buttress the war mode of the military to crush these threats decisively. The offensive posture by the military indicated by the ongoing operations would surely cause the perpetrators of these security challenges to reconsider their position.
He further stated that the air component of Operation Wild Punch conducted several air interdictions to degrade terrorist group and their logistic bases pursuant to denying them freedom of action. Notably, the air component of Operation Wild Punch conducted air interdiction at Shulape, a newly uncovered Boko Haram terrorist location in Shiroro local government area of Niger State. The targets were acquired and successfully attacked with rockets, which destroyed some of their huts, damaging buildings and dislodging the terrorists.
Interdiction missions at Sankri and LM Kalabari, respectively. Overhead the locations, the active illegal refining sites were engaged with rockets and some of the equipment were destroyed in the process. Now, in the course of operations, troops of Operation Delta Safe recovered 367,200 liters of crude oil, 27,150 liters of automotive gas oil, 550 assorted rounds of ammunition, 12 calibers of weapons, 7 empty magazines, 17 cutlasses, 3 vehicles, 9 motorcycles, daggers. Troops also destroyed over 22 illegal refining sites, over 15 wooden boats, over 34 storage tanks, over 96 ovens, and over 16 dug-out pits.
The Military High Command acknowledged that the operations were indicative of the fact that the security challenges confronting the country require a collective effort and responsibility. Kike Lomo Okeri, Global Television News, Abuja.
Transport fares and prices of essential goods and services are shot up significantly across the country as Nigerian students grappled with the ripple effect of the government's decision of fuel subsidy removal. Our reporter Edika Michael has the details.
The increase of petrol pump price has given a need for students to react over the high level of transportation. At the University of Abuja, students are comparing the prices of transportations prior to this time, as it has double increases from about 600 naira to and fro journeys to about 1,500. The students are calling on government to look into the matter, as this is hitting deep down to their pockets.
As of 100 level, we're paying 30 naira for transport fare everywhere within the school, but now we pay 100 naira.
From Ido to school gate used to be 100 naira, 50 naira, right? Okay, but now is 200. Then you need to take keke to school, 100 naira. That's 300. Which, when you are leaving Ido safe, you need to take bike from Ido to your junction. Before it was 100 naira, now it's 150. That's making it like 550 to come and to go to 550. So now what students do is that they even select days of coming to school.
It's biting hard. The transportation has tripled. As a matter of fact, we that are sponsoring ourselves, paying our transport to this place is not easy for us. We even had to reduce the days of lectures to 4 days, but it's still not very. It still has a serious effect on our budget.
Honestly, the transport price is too high. You know, I transport myself from Suleja to the school. Formerly, I transport myself less than 1,000 naira, but now I spend more than 2,000 naira every day to come to the school.
For now, I used to pay 150 naira from Giri down to school gate, which from school gate to the school is usually 50 naira, which is 200 naira. But right now I'm paying 600-700 naira through and through. It's bad.
Normally, I used to pay from my place from Kuje down to this place at least to and fro. Before now is 1,000 naira. But now I spend about 1,600 to and fro, and which is very, very hard on us. You know, we that sponsors ourselves to school, we have other responsibilities. It is very difficult for us to, maintain with it now. So I'm calling on the government to look at us and know what to do for us.
High cost of food, high level of transportation fare to school. These are the concerns of the students of the University of Abuja, appealing to governments to look critically into the matter urgently and to solve the issue of high price of petrol. This is Edikan Michael, Global TV News.
In line with its resolve to build and empower entrepreneurs across Africa, with a particular focus on Nigeria, African Economic Merit Award, AEMA, has taken AEMA Inspire University tour to University of Abuja. Edika Michael tells us more.
The project is aimed at inspiring African students to become entrepreneurs, employers of labor and business executives. Tom Fair, founder and convener of the Empowerment Initiative, said AEMA as an organization has presence in 17 African countries with economic impact and developmental projects in which in each university, AEMA provides grants and other startup kits to students to help them initiate and scale commercially viable projects.
It's actually from the unemployment in the African system, and also the feeling of how undergraduates lament about their fear for unemployment.
Successful professionals will mentor the student entrepreneurs to enable them build lasting enterprise.
We are creating entrepreneurs, and these entrepreneurs will employ more people and take off a lot of people from the labor market to become workers and add to the Nigerian and African economy. So it's a huge avenue to contribute to the Nigerian economy, to the African economy. And believe you me, you can see a whole lot of students seated here today, and some of them will be given the grant to start up a business, a capital to start up a business.
A member of EMA, Olatunji Joshua, explained that African Economic Merit Awards aim to boost economic growth in African communities by uniting successful business entrepreneurs with latent talents.
This is timely. I tell you, with all that's going on in the country right now, we can't keep waiting for the government to solve our problem. Everyone is blaming the government, but this is timely. Giving grants to students is one thing that I'm excited about with this EMA Pet Talk today. We're going to be inspiring young entrepreneurs, not just to come to school and start looking for a job after they finish school, but they have the mind to be able to start up their business.
Participating students said that the grant will be a moral booster for them, applauding EMA for facilitating life-touching initiatives.
My idea is to set up a storage facility at the outskirts of the FCT, especially where we store grains, especially during the harvesting seasons, and we now sell them when the time is needed and when they are most needed and scarce at the market.
Edikan Michael reporting for Global TV News.
House of Representatives has urged President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to lift the embargo on employment and ministries, departments and agencies of the federal government. Consequently, the House urged the Federal Civil Service Commission and bodies to immediately act upon the President's directive in this regard. This was as the House adopted a motion moved by Francis Ejiro-Gene from Delta State at plenary on Wednesday. Moving the motion, Ejiro-Gene said the immediate past administration had placed an embargo on empowerment in federal ministries, departments, and agencies of the federal government. He said the Ninth House had passed a resolution calling on the then president to lift the embargo on employment, and there were reports on social media that the action was taken. However, there is no evidence of any employment took place. Federal High Court in Abuja has ordered the Department of State Services, DSS, to allow detained leader of the proscribed Indigenous People of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, access to doctors of his choice and medical records. Justice Binta Nyako issued the order on Thursday in a judgment in a suit filed by Kanu by his team of lawyers led by Mike Ozekome San. Justice Nyako held that Kanu was constitutionally entitled to be allowed to access both medical doctors of his choice and his medical records. Despite being held in custody, the judge, however, orders that any independent medical assessment or examination to be carried out on Kanu by his personal medical experts should be supervised by the DSS, with the whole process recorded and sealed for security purposes.
Kanu, in the suit he filed through his team of lawyers led by Professor Mike Ozekome, SAN, applied for an order of mandamus to compel the security agency to allow him have unhindered access to his private physicians. He had requested the court for an order directing the DSS to allow him enforce his right to access his private medical doctor and health records. In a judgment, Justice Yanko held that Kanu is entitled to his medical record and that the DSS should not interfere with his rights. The court further held that medical examination of Kanu outside the facility of the DSS should be supervised by Kanu's team of medical doctors and that the reports should be sealed for security purposes. Reacting to the judgment, Kanu's lead counsel, Professor Ozekome, SAN, commended Justice Yanko for her courage and godliness in the judgment, stating that the earlier judgment of the court striking out 8 counts and the appeal court verdict striking out the remaining 7 counts is now a new case study in the legal practice.
The court agreed with us that the reliefs we ask for must be granted, and the judge granted. What were these reliefs? That Nnamdi Kanu be allowed access to medical doctors of his own choice, as earlier also ruled by this honorable court since October 2021, but which ruling was continuously, serially, and contumaciously breached by the SSS.
And that's it on Global TV News Express. We are on StarTimes channel 276. Kindly follow us across our social media platform at Global TV NG. I am Judith Peters. We appreciate your time with us. Good evening.